Are we live? I think we are live. Great. Hello. If you're there watching in the comments, do say hi. My name's Laura. I'm here at MSE HQ, and we're just going to be talking about all the news that we've had this week regarding school and exams and all of those things. There has been some all sorts of huge news this week. So, first off, we heard that all schools in the UK will be closing from today. So for a lot of you, it's going to be your last day at school, possibly ever, if you're in year 13, which must be a really strange feeling for you. Then we had the news on Wednesday that all GCSEs and A-level exams were going to be cancelled. We had the news yesterday that exams in Scotland are also going to be cancelled for the first time in history. And then today we've just had some more news from the Department for Education on exactly how GCSE and A-level grades are going to be allocated. So I guess maybe the biggest bit of news is that you'll get your results a lot earlier than you expected. So hopefully you'll have your GCSE and A-level grades in July instead of in August. So for A-level students, you should have been waiting until the 13th of August. And for GCSE students, you should have been waiting until the 20th of August. But now you should have those results a lot sooner. And then the other main story from today was that how your grades will be determined. So this is going to be mostly on predicted grades from your teachers. And then those predicted grades are going to be combined with other relevant data, including your prior attainment. And then Ofqual will use all of that information together to calculate a grade for every student, which will hopefully be as fair as possible and reflect your ability and your achievement and allow you to go on to the next steps that you need to go on to. So a few people popping up now. Let's just say hi. Dana Amar saying, does this decision include international examinations? No, it does not. So the international exam boards like Cambridge International Examinations have said that they are going ahead with their exam schedule because the exams take place in so many different countries all over the world. They, at the moment, let me just check, but the last time I checked on their Twitter, they were saying that they would be working with the UK Education Department and schools to figure out how that might affect students in the UK who are sitting exams on the... Yeah, okay, so let me just read the post here. Yes, Cambridge International exams, including IGCSEs, etc., will be going ahead where schools are open or exams can be held safely. For schools in England that take Cambridge International exams, we're working with the UK government to understand more about their intentions and will provide more information to schools as soon as possible. So I hope that helps. Let's see who else is here. Lauren Hannah saying, our teachers told us today that in Northern Ireland you'll have to sit your AS exams next year in your final year. So I guess that means you'll be sitting your AS and A2 exams at the same time. Which is, I suppose, like what the students in England have to go through now. So maybe you won't be affected as badly. Obviously, it's not what you're expecting to do, but at least you'll get to sit all of your exams. Erin Lacey, hi. Spencer M saying, you thought the mock results were used, not your predicted grades. So what we are seeing is, just bear with me. So, in fact, I'll just paste this article in the comments. My colleague might have already done it, but I'm not keeping up. This article here is saying exam boards will ask teachers to submit their judgment about the grade that they believe the student would have received if exams had gone ahead. Teachers should consider evidence including performance on mock exams and non-exam assessment. Ofqual said clear guidance on how to do this fairly and robustly will be provided to schools and colleges. So the qualifications regulator will be providing schools with guidance on how they can predict your grade in the most fair manner, and to try and ensure that consistency across schools all over the country. And yeah, the exam boards will then combine this information with other relevant data, including prior attainment, and use this information to produce a calculated grade for each student, which will be a best assessment of the work they have put in. And to add to that, Ofqual and the exam boards will be discussing the whole process with teachers before finalising the exact approach to make sure that it is as fair as possible, and they'll provide more information as soon as possible. So I hope that is helpful. Kiki Love here saying, are we still writing GCSE? If you're studying in the UK, if you're studying in England or Wales or Northern Ireland, then no, your exams have been cancelled. If you're doing IGCSEs, it will depend on what country you're in. So if you're in the UK, you'll have to speak to your school and wait for more news, because I don't think that decision has been made yet. If you're in another country, again, a lot of different countries haven't made their decisions yet, so you'll have to just keep looking out for the news. Erin Lacey saying, I did AS levels before A levels. Do you think they'll use those grades? Potentially. So it does mention in the article I was reading just now that they'll use a range of different data to calculate your final grade, including prior attainment. So it's likely that they would factor your AS grades into that, but I don't know that for certain. Alicia, you sound really, really disappointed. I'm sure you must be, feeling so many different emotions right now. Like I said last night, if you're watching, you've just got to focus on the things that are in your control right now, and trust that the exam boards and government and qualifications regulator will do all they can to make things as fair as possible. The other thing to add is that it does say, if I can find the exact quote again, here, yeah. If pupils do not believe that the correct process has been followed, then they can appeal. If they don't feel their calculated grade reflects their performance, pupils can also resit an exam at the earliest reasonable opportunity once schools are open again. And students will also have the option to sit their exams in summer 2021. So I hope that puts your mind at rest a little bit, Alicia. Shooting Star, hi. Let us know how your day's been, what you're up to. Emily Morris saying, what happens if people were meant to resit? Will they be made to do it again? I'm not 100% sure on that, Emily, but because all the GCSEs and A-levels have been cancelled for this session, then I imagine the same would apply to resits as people taking the exams for the first time. You'll probably get a predicted grade from your school, and you would then still have the opportunity to resit again at the earliest opportunity, I'm sure. Lucy Lou, wait, we're getting results in July? Yeah, that is the latest news, Lucy, from the Education Department today. They expect that the results will be available in July for GCSE and A-level students, so a bit earlier than you expected, but hopefully that gives you a bit more time once you've got your results to work out your next steps, whatever they may be. Someone here asking, will you still have to collect them in school? That's a really good question. I don't know the answer to that one. I'm sure you'll find out more from your school soon, because obviously that can be a really exciting day for people to go into school and collect their results on GCSE or A-level results day. So you might not have that, but you might do. I don't know. You'll have to watch this space. Alicia Anderson, can we still do the exams? So yes, you will still be able to take your exams, but not this May or June. The official line is that candidates will be able to resit exams at the earliest reasonable opportunity. So that might be, there's normally a November resit exam sitting, so possibly then, or if not, you'll be able to resit in exam season 2021 in May and June. Lucy Lou, if we want to resit, do we have to wait a year? So as I was just saying, the official line is that candidates will be able to resit an exam at the earliest reasonable opportunity once schools are open again. And students will also have the option to sit their exams in summer 2021. So the earliest reasonable opportunity, Nobody knows when the earliest reasonable opportunity is yet, but you will be able to reset your exams, yes. Let's see who else is here. Hey Amar, I hope you've had a good day. Nasa Ali, you sound very happy that exams are cancelled. If you're there watching, let me know how you're feeling, how your week's been, how your last day at school has been, because for a lot of you, it has been your last day at school, or you might have finished earlier anyway. But if you're in year 11 or year 13, it probably was your last day at school. So let me know how it was. Was it really emotional? Were teachers all giving you lots of support, or were they busy running around trying to collect mock results from you? Let me know. Lauren Hannah, do you think people who paid for resits will get that money back? That's a really good question. I don't know the answer to that one. That might you have to speak to your school about it, or if you are an independent candidate, I don't know, you'd have to speak to the exam boards maybe. We don't have that information at the moment, but that's a really good question. Malika says, if you choose to resit your A levels in autumn, what happens to your uni offers? So at the moment, your university offers, in theory, the UCAS process should work as planned, just with the grades that you're allocated in July. If your uni, I don't know if you mean that you've resat in autumn just gone or you're planning on resitting, but in theory, this news shouldn't affect what happens with those university offers because you'll still have grades before the deadline to meet the conditions of your offer, which is 31st of August. So let me know exactly what you mean there, and hopefully I can help. Let's see who else is here. Amar saying, it's been a ride, hasn't it, with all that has happened. Completely agree, Amar. This week has been a bit of a roller coaster. Kiki Love saying it was emotional. Nasa Ali saying sad last time seeing your friends. Amar saying you start remote learning on Monday. Let us know, Amar, what kind of things your school have put in place for you for that. So I know some of the schools we work with, they've been busy setting up like Google Classroom and things like that. So let us know how your school is planning on carrying on your study, even studying from home. Lul Gabby saying, quite disappointed, so many years just for mock results. Felt like you could have done better in the real exam. I think a lot of people are feeling like that. And yeah, that's something you've just got to process yourself, really. You'll still be able to take your exams, just not this time round. You'll have to wait for the resit at the earliest reasonable opportunity, as the government is saying, which might be the November sitting, or it might be next spring and summer. So if you are really disappointed with your grades, the government is making it really clear that there will be an opportunity for you to appeal that and to reset your exams if you don't feel like your grade reflects what you really deserve. So I hope that puts your mind at rest a little bit at least. Let's see. Nasa Ali saying, what about non-exam assessments in subjects like food tech? So I suppose maybe what you're asking, if you haven't finished your course or haven't finished all your coursework, what happens? I imagine your teachers would still submit a predicted grade as if it was an examined subject, but you've got a lot more coursework data on performance that can be submitted to the exam board. So in theory, they just have a bit more information to go on to predict your to allocate your grade. So I think the same sort of process would be followed. Erin Lacey, you're saying you didn't know your last day at school was going to be your last. It feels pretty weird. I imagine that does feel really strange. A lot of people in year 11 and year 13 will have leavers assemblies, or I don't know if muck-up day is still a thing, or parties or just celebrations for the end of school, and all those things have suddenly disappeared. Must be really strange for you. But let us know, what your school did for you today, if there was any kind of send-off or anything. I'd be really interested to hear. Lauren Hannah, you're saying this is kind of a good thing for you because your computer science AS exam is your hardest exam, has a really low pass rate. if you get your predicted grade, you'd be over the moon. Well, that sounds good, Lauren. As somebody who's feeling a bit more positive. Alicia saying hi and more. Kiki Love saying you're researching biology and maths. Lucy Lou, how will they standardise mocks? Your teacher gave you a mock with content you hadn't finished, so understandably we did not do as well as you might have done usually. Yeah, so what the news is saying is that Ofqual, which is the qualifications regulator, is saying that they will be providing guidance to schools on how to predict your grade fairly and try and standardise those predictions across different schools, different teachers and everything. So it will be based partly, what is it saying? Here we go. Teachers should consider evidence, including performance on mock exams and non-exam assessment. Clear guidance on how to do this fairly and robustly will be provided to schools and colleges. So your mock results might be taken into account, but hopefully that guidance from Ofqual to your schools will ensure that they know that the mock that you sat was particularly difficult and that the grades would be lower across the board than might otherwise be expected. Hopefully that helps. Amar, you're saying most of your teachers will be using Google Classroom, but your school has always used this online platform called Firefly to set and submit work online. So you'll definitely be using that. That sounds really helpful. I know a lot of universities use online submissions and stuff as well, so that sounds quite similar. Nasa Ali saying what to do with all this free time at home, going to be so bored. I guess that depends on how much work your school is still setting you, because is it really free time? If not, Primrose Kitten's advice is that you will read a good book, so there's that. And most people, I think the advice from a lot of the study tubers or like teachers with YouTube channels is that just take a few days to calm down, reflect, take a break, and then you can reset and start studying again or just motivating yourself to get in that routine and keep working. Shooting Star, how will you receive your results? I don't know exactly what you mean there. If you're talking about whether or not you'll have a results day in school, we don't know that yet. You probably have to check with your individual schools. You might receive your results in the post, you might receive your results online, or you might have to go into school to collect your envelope, same as usual. Yeah, I don't have that information yet, so you'll have to just keep checking with your school and see what happens. Kiki Love, you had your last English exam today. How'd it go? Let us know. Lauren Hannah, your mocks in school aren't full papers, but just mini assessments. How can they predict it off them? Again, I'm sure that will be taken into account in the guidance that Ofqual are going to be giving schools and teachers to make sure that predicted grades are fair enough. They know, Ofqual know that mocks aren't standardised between every school in the country. They know that people do things differently, will have used different exam papers with different grade boundaries and things like that. So I'm sure that that will be taken into account in that guidance from Ofqual. Lucy Lou, do you need to finish coursework even though there are no longer any deadlines? I don't know that for certain, but I'd say in general, finishing coursework can only work to your advantage because you've got an opportunity to really show the exam boards how well you can do. You know, the more data they have about your performance, the more likely they're going to be to offer you a good grade if they think that's what you deserve. So I would say definitely finish all your coursework for sure. Amar saying that Disney Plus launches on Tuesday, although it's good news. Watching some of the old classics. Lucy Lee saying you're still reading and doing educational activities. Is there any point studying for your subjects if you no longer have to sit them anymore? It's a really interesting question, you see. I don't know what the advice from your school is and also what your next step is. So if you're in year 13 and you're starting university, I can't remember what you said earlier, I'm sorry, then there's an opportunity for you to do lots of extra reading for your university course. Or if you're in year 11 and you're going to be starting A levels, likewise, you still need that baseline of knowledge from your GCSEs that you can build upon for starting your A-level courses. So it's definitely worthwhile making sure that you have consolidated all the knowledge that you're likely to need for starting those courses. If that is not the case, if you're starting completely new A-level subjects or something, then again, you've got an opportunity to get that base knowledge that you don't have. And also, there's an opportunity for you to, I guess, try new things, take up a hobby, learn a language, or, there's all sorts of things you can do in terms of personal development that isn't just studying, revising for your GCSEs or your A-levels. Laura and Hannah saying you're finishing your courses, trying to waste time to make these next few weeks go fast. Interesting. Yeah, if you're watching, let me know how your week has been, how you feel about the news regarding your exams, and this latest news about how you'll get your grades. Let us know what other questions you've got as well, because obviously there's still a lot that we don't know. So keep the questions coming in, keep talking to us. We're doing our best to bring you all the updates we can, find out the news as soon as possible and bring those to you. So yeah, let us know. Amar, you're saying, oh, you're talking in the comments, you're not talking to me at all. Oh, £10 discount to pre-order for launch. Is this Disney Plus we're still talking about? That sounds like great fun. So if you're just tuning in and you're not talking in the comments, to update you on today's news, well, the week's news, if in case you've managed to hide from it, schools in the UK are, well, now closed. Schools in England, Wales, Scotland and Northern Ireland are all closed. GCSE, A-level and SQA exams in Scotland are all cancelled. They're not postponed, they're cancelled. And the news from today was, for GCSEs and A-levels at least, how you will get your grades. So you will be getting, your teachers will be submitting predicted grades, but they will be receiving guidance from Ofqual, the qualifications regulator, on how to submit your predicted grades, so what evidence they should be taking account of when they're predicting your grade. And yeah, let me just read it here. So clear guidance on how to do this fairly and robustly will be provided to schools and colleges. The exam boards will then combine this information with other relevant data, including prior attainment, and use this information to produce a calculated grade for each student, which will be a best assessment of the work that they've put in. So that's what's happening. Richard offering some job hunting advice for people, that's very kind of you. Mariam saying you're more worried about getting into uni. So the other big news from today actually was that GCSE and A-level results will be available in July, so actually earlier than expected. And for your UCAS offers, you have until the 31st of August to fulfill the academic conditions of that offer. So you will have your grades in time to meet your UCAS offers. So in theory, that process shouldn't be affected too badly. Let me just read the quote from the Education Department website. Here we go. So yeah, the Department for Education are saying, the government's priority is now to ensure that affected students can move on as planned to the next stage of their lives, including going into employment, starting university, college or sixth form courses, or an apprenticeship. So they're doing all they can to make sure that your progression to the next phase in your life won't be affected too badly. So I hope that helps. Chloe's saying, when in July do we get results? We haven't heard that yet. This announcement has literally just been made like 2 hours ago, 2.5 hours ago. It's saying, let me just find the exact quote again. The aim is to provide these calculated grades to students before the end of July. So I would guess that it will be nearer the end of July than the start, but we don't know, we don't have an exact date yet. But it's looking like you will be getting your results earlier than expected. Lucy Lou saying you're kind of looking forward to leavers and prom too. It sucks that everything is cancelled. Yeah, it's really sad. I think when the news broke on Wednesday about exams being cancelled, that's all everyone could think about. And then it's been a bit of a slow realization about all the other things that you're going to be missing out on. So, like you say, you've got leavers assemblies and your prom and everything. What's going to happen with that? Are you going to get to say goodbye to all your favorite teachers? When are you going to see your friends again? Like, there's so many other surrounding questions, and hopefully, once we're out the other side of this whole pandemic, you'll still be able to get to enjoy those sorts of things. That's Ali saying your prom is cancelled. NCS and work experience being cancelled too. It's really, really tough. Yeah. I guess the good thing about NCS is that will start again one day. It's not the end of the world. It's just a very disruptive period of time. And same with work experience. You will be able to get work experience at a later date. It might be more competitive because you might be competing with a bigger range of students to get work experience at a particular time. But you will still be able to get work experience. And this pandemic has affected the whole world in so many ways that we could never have predicted. And in just the magnitude of it has been, I think, taken a lot of people by surprise. Like, it's moving so fast that as soon as you feel like you've got a hold on the situation, something else changes and something else changes. And it's been the whole world over. So employers and universities, everyone knows what happened in 2020. So you shouldn't be at a disadvantage in your future because of it. Tai Young's Jam saying, I don't know whether my predicted grades are going to be good for university, so you're highly worried. I guess, yeah, it is worrying. All you can do now is focus on what is in your control. If you are disappointed with your grades, there will be an appeals process for you to follow. The government is also saying if students don't feel that their calculated grade reflects their performance, pupils can also resit an exam at the earliest reasonable opportunity once schools are open again. And students will also have the option to sit their exams in summer 2021. So you will have an opportunity to resit your exams if you don't feel like you've got the grade that you deserve. That's Ali also saying that your DV expedition is cancelled. Again, that's really disappointing. The good thing about DV is that you can keep doing it till you're 25, I think it is. So you have got time to do all those things and won't miss out on them forever. Just a bit of a delay. Paige, you're saying you never had a prom, you feel for everyone. Yeah, we really feel sorry for you guys as well. There's so much that you're going to be missing out on at the moment, but I guess you just got to, again, look around you. Everyone is suffering, missing out on stuff in so many different ways, and no one's doing this on purpose just to make you miserable. Like, you've just got to, I think, process where you're at and try and move on. Like, you can only move forward. Emily saying year 11s won't get to experience prom, last exam, results day, or study leave. Yeah, that's right. Lucy Lou saying you have friends in second year at uni. Will they get special consideration as everything has been so disrupted? I'm sure they will. I think a lot of universities are still going ahead with the exams, but some online. And also, it could just be that their second year grade doesn't count, because in universities, it depends on the university how much of your final result is based on your third year or your second year. And mine was entirely on my third year, so we'd have just probably missed out on exams. Whereas I think some courses you can choose what proportion of your second year versus your third year goes towards your final grade. So there's all sorts of different things to think about there as well. Amar saying such a shame about NCS. You loved doing that last summer, met some lovely people. Usually run one in October half term. That's a good point. Then I didn't know that. So if you're missing out on NCS this summer, then you might be able to get on one in October, which would be really good. Chloe, is NCS cancelled? I believe so. Someone in the comments is saying that NCS is cancelled, and I can't see it going ahead. Sarah E, is there any updates from CIE? Have they changed their minds? As of about 20 minutes ago, no, but I will just check again. Let me see. So no, Cambridge International Examinations are still saying the June 2020 exam series timetable is global and we work in over 160 countries. It is not possible for us to make changes at short notice because timetabling across many different countries is so complex. And for schools in England that take Cambridge International exams, we're working with the UK government to understand more about their intentions and will provide more information to schools as soon as possible. So I hope that helps, not Chloe, Sarah. Emily is saying you're on CIE of ASICT, they're cancelled in the UK. Okay. That sounds right anyway. Their website is still, I'll just post you their website here, which you can follow for further updates. Their website is still saying that they're working with exam centres. There you go. Right then, if nobody else has any more questions or thoughts to share or anything, I think we'll wrap it up there. Just to recap before we finish the news this week, schools are closed in the UK. That's in England and Wales and Scotland and Northern Ireland. Found out on Wednesday that GCSE and A-level exams have been cancelled. We found out yesterday that SQA exams, so that's all the National 5 hires, advanced hires in Scotland, have also been cancelled. And then today we just found out the news that GCSE and A-level results will be available in July. We found out a bit more about how those results will be calculated. So Ofqual will be providing guidance to schools to help teachers submit predicted grades. So these predicted grades will be based partly on mock results, partly on non-exam assessment. These predicted grades will then be combined with other relevant data, including prior attainment, and this information will be used to produce a calculated grade for each student. And if you're not happy with the grade that you're given, you will be able to appeal, and you'll also be able to resit your exams at the earliest opportunity, if not before, in summer 2021. So that's kind of a summary of where we're at the moment. We'll be providing you with more updates as we get them, as the situation changes. So thank you so much for watching, everyone. Keep your comments coming, keep your feedback coming, keep letting us know what you want content about, what you want us to be covering, and we'll do our best to make that for you. So thanks again, and I'll speak to you again soon.